Access for Autism provides diagnostic evaluations for children and adults who are at risk for autism spectrum disorder.
The Access for Autism evaluation process starts with the initial free screening. For most families, that's a phone call.
Hi, my name is Nikki and I'm calling to make an appointment for my daughter.
The free screening determines if an evaluation is needed. If so, Access asks for a lot of information.
We need parents, families, caregivers, loved ones to help us really understand the person that's coming in. And so we do that by having them fill out what we call questionnaires, a lot of paperwork, and to tell us everything they know up front. And they can do that from home. They can do that here in the office. We try to make it as easy for the family as possible to tell us what we need to know.
Once questionnaires are completed, families schedule an in-office assessment with one of Access for Autism's highly skilled testing specialists.
The testing specialists are rigorously trained and go through continuing education multiple times throughout a year to make sure they stay best in class or to make sure that they maintain their expertise.
We have 3 locations that are pretty accessible: Glendale, Tucson, and Central Phoenix. It's very convenient the way that we do the testing because instead of 3 visits in the office, it's 1 visit in the office. So it requires less driving, less transportation.
Access for Autism has advice for preparing for the assessment.
We know that going new places isn't always easy for a child or even an adult with autism spectrum disorder. So we recommend at least getting a good night's sleep if possible, having a decent meal.
Yeah, good job.
It's not important to say that they're going for a doctor's visit or even evaluation or testing because that's not what it feels like. I recommend just saying we're going to meet some people who are going to help make things easier for you, help make things easier for us. When a child comes in for a visit, the family can expect what seems like a play session depending on the age of the child.
I have one of these.
Really?
At my house.
What color are yours?
Mine are pink and I forgot the other colors.
Sometimes we're playing on the floor or at a table, sometimes there's snacks. So it's very casual, but the testing specialist that whole time is looking for very specific behaviors that we need to help us figure out a diagnosis.
Thank you for teaching me how to color too.
The assessments in the room last anywhere from 45 to 90 minutes, depending on the age of the individual and how much they have to share with us. These appointments that the children or adults come in for are actually video recorded. So the licensed psychologist is able to watch the entire session from multiple angles to make sure that they also pick up every single detail and observation that they can from the in-person session.
Next, everything is turned over to a PhD-level psychologist.
The licensed psychologist will use all of the information provided by the parent, the observations from the in-person appointment, information from what we call behavior rating scales, which are sort of yes/no questionnaires about what a person can and can't do. All of this information gets taken into account, and that's what the licensed psychologist uses to not only make a diagnosis, but figure out which kinds of therapies and services are going to be the most useful for this particular individual.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Neil Stafford. I'm one of the psychologists for Access for Autism. And so I have reviewed your daughter's case.
One of the last steps is a telehealth appointment with the licensed psychologist who will finish the evaluation by possibly asking even more questions and providing some education to the parent and providing a plan for what to do next.
So how does your daughter function on a day-to-day basis? What are your observations of her? So we really need your information because you live with her. and see here every day.
At the end of the whole process, the individual or family has a diagnostic report that has an explanation of how the diagnostic conclusion was reached, and it also has the treatment plan. There's a lot of information to take in at the end of an evaluation, but it's all there. Everything they need is there in the diagnostic report. So all of the recommendations for the different types of therapies that might be recommended. Access for Autism is also a little bit different because we stay involved after the fact. We're here as a resource later on because more questions will arise, and it's great to hear the successes.
At Access for Autism, we are all in this together. Let us help you schedule an evaluation. Call 602-888-8882 or visit accessforautism.com.